Good morning, everyone. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful, let's see, is it Tuesday morning? Yes, Tuesday morning or Wednesday. What is today? Today is Tuesday. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday morning. And we are going to do some watercolor. We're going to do a tutorial this morning. We've been doing these cute little animals. I found a super cute hippo that I want to do today. So I thought that we would try it. These are the ones that we did last week. And I thought we would try doing doing a hippo today. So you guys will have to tell me what you guys think. There are a few things I want to do prior to that. One of the things is I got these, oh goodness gracious, Mr. Pickles. Y'all hear my dog back there? He's just a scratching. I got this new watercolor palette from Grabby. It comes with a mixing palette, a sponge, and these fold out colors, which I think is nice. All of these different colors. And then all of these different colors. So I wanted to show you guys this because I think it's quite ingenious the way it's designed. It's got a brush right here that you just pop out. Kind of cool. I don't know how the paints are going to be, but we're going to play around with them and see. So there's that. Welcome in, Kinder Kelly, Lori, Summer, Selma. Glad to have you guys. I am going to put this up for you guys because I want you guys to see it. Grabby was generous enough to send this to me. And I want to be sure and give it give it a whirl and see how we like it, because I've not ever used their watercolors before. I've only used the Meeden ones that I use on here. So I thought what I might try to do is maybe swatch a few of these just to get the feel of them. It comes with this swatch sheet. It comes with a water brush, which I'm not a huge fan of these water brushes. So I probably won't use that, but I am a huge fan of travel palettes. So I thought I would try to swatch some of these for you guys just to see. And I don't know, it's got labels on them right here to show you kind of what colors are what. So you don't have to take a guess, since they kind of, sometimes the darker ones all look alike. But I like the fact that it's got this pull out little palette here to do like mixing and stuff on if you wanted to. That's pretty ingenious. And I like the fact that when it's closed up, you can see like which colors are which on here. Hang on, guys. Let me turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. That when it's closed up, you can see like which colors are which on here. Hang on, guys. Let me turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. About that. So I like that because you can, see the colors here without having to pull it out, which is nice. So I don't know. Well, I just wanted to kind of see like what, so like this is the F row. So let's see, this is F 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, and so forth. So let's just try and see kind of how these work. This is the F6-1. So what I thought I would do is just swatch a few of these to kind of see how they compare to what I'm used to. And honestly, they're pretty pigmented, which is great. Let's try the 6-2 and see. Nice. They're creamy and buttery. I've heard that these are very comparable to the palette that we normally use on a daily basis. Hey, Kinder. So, and it definitely is from a color standpoint. Like they're different colors, but they feel like the creaminess and the pigmentation of them is really nice. This is a really pretty color right here, this French fuchsia. Holy cow, look at that color, y'all. And that is gorgeous. I'm going to move this down so you guys can see it. That is a really pretty color. So, these colors are not the same as what we usually do. These are definitely some different color options, which is nice. And this is like a little travel palette. So, because it moves, like it closes up like this. And you can just take it with you. You can put your brush in here like this. And it has this, flip out like sponge and your mixing palettes here, which is kind of cool. So that, really nice. I mean, these, the pigments in these are really good. They're very, very comparable to what we normally use. So I like that. This is, it's a lot smaller, so it would be a lot easier for me to travel with this palette, I think, when I'm traveling. But even these lighter colors are very pigmented. Like they're not, they've got a good color to them. Super creamy. I did not prime these, and yet look at the color that's coming off of them. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a good sign when you don't have to necessarily prime them right away. You can just put a wet brush on them and immediately get pigment. I mean, that's pretty great. So, I like that. Ooh, that's a pretty color. This citrine, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. That's a really pretty color. So these colors are definitely different than what we usually use in our palette that we get, that I usually pull out. So, love, love, love these. The coloring is really nice. The pigment is good. The buttery and creaminess is good. So, yes, Davila for life. It definitely is. Hey, Golden Girl, how's it going? Yeah, this is a simple, like, it just closes up and then there you are. Like it's I mean, it's solid. Like it's heavy, but not like so heavy that it would be something. I mean, this would slip down in your bag. It could go down into, you know, a little paint kit bag or whatever. Very easy to travel with. Very easy to just, and I love the fact, because I've had these flip out palettes before and you don't know what's what. But these, you can see they have the coloring, the color numbers and everything on the palette itself right here. So you know what section that you need to pull out without having to pull out all of them. It is kind of stiff at first. I'm sure these will loosen up and be easier to, you know, not to pull out individually, because right now if you do that, it kind of pulls out the whole thing. But I think it's just because it's new. But yeah, because it's got this on it, you can pick and choose like the colors that you need to pull out to use. So you don't have to pull like all of them out and spread them all out to find the color that you need. They actually have this key on here, which is great. Yes, Carrie, it's below. It's right here. It's pinned. It's product number 52 in the shopping bag, but it should be right there. So yes, Golden Girl, these are the ones that Grabby sent me, and I'm excited to try them out because, like I said, I wasn't sure how they would compare to what I normally use. So I was kind of swatching them to see, and they're very creamy and buttery. I mean, I think they compare, you know, pretty good side by side. Like if I were to, you know, use the same colors, I feel like they're very, very similar. So, but I really like these. And look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful color. So like the colors are different for sure. Like I don't have, like these are different colors that are than those that are in the palette that I have. So, or that I normally use. So I like the fact that they're different colors too, which is nice. So I don't feel like, I mean, obviously some of them will probably be the same. I haven't swatched them all, but I definitely feel like that they are, you know, there's also some unique colors in these as well. So, this is the next section. So I'll just swatch one more section of this for you guys. And I didn't prime these, and still they have like an amazing like pigment to them. So I didn't spray them or prime them or anything. I'm just able to pick up the color right off the bat, which makes them like super, like that's a really good sign when you can do that. I love the fact that I don't have to spray this palette to get color off of these, because I forget to do that a lot. Yay, I'm glad your brushes are on the way. Yay, yay, yay. You're going to love those brushes so much, I'm telling you. Deb, thank you so much for your purchase. You're going to love these paints. And they are a great little easy to carry, you know, on the go palette. So look at this color, you guys. Look how much color comes off of these just for me, just taking a wet brush and swiping a few times. So they're very pigmented, you guys. If you're looking for something that's super pigmented, these are definitely, I feel like these are almost more pigmented than the ones that I'm used to using. So that's going to be, it'll take some getting used to, but I love that because they'll last a long time. Because if they're super pigmented, you don't have to use as much paint, which means they're going to last me a lot longer, which is very nice. I love that. All right. Does anybody have any questions about this? This was the new palette that they sent me. I think I'm going to use it today on our tutorial just because I want to play around with it and see how I like it. All right. So, but there's kind of some swatches of some of the colors in the palette. I wanted you guys to see that before so that you could see the pigment and all of that, and also just how easy it is to pick these colors up without having to prime your palette, and the fact that they have so much pigment, you don't really have to use a ton of the paint, which means the paints are going to last a lot longer. So I do love that about them. I'm going to use this palette today in our tutorial. All right, so these are the paints that we're going to be using today. Now, the other stuff that we're going to use for our tutorial today are going to be the, hang on, let me pull it up, the Nick Pro Sketch Mechanical Pencil Set. We will be using that. And guys, if you have not grabbed one of these, well, let me tell you, I know, right, Carrie? I'm the same way. I'm like, what? All right, so I want you guys to see this. I drew this flower. I'm still coloring it, obviously. I haven't finished coloring it, but I drew this flower with these pencils. Look how fine and beautiful those sketch lines are from being able to use these thin, you know, you get all of these different sizes in your leads, so you can do different sizes when you're doing your sketches. And so I drew this because I wanted you guys to kind of see it and see how easily it is to draw sketches and detail and all of the things with this set. Now this set has your 0.7, it has your 0.5, your 0.9, and then 3 2.0 pins. which I think is really, really nice. You also get all the different leads. You get your HB, your 2B, you get your 2H, your 4H, and your 4B, 6B, and 2Bs. You also get your colored leads, you get extra erasers, you get 3 of these big soft erasers, and you get a kneaded eraser with this kit. You also get this, you get pencil sharpeners with these as well. Thank you for the heart, me, Carrie. So this is the Nick Pro Mechanical Pencil Sketching Kit. It comes in this little case. You can travel with it really easily as well. So I love that. And like I said, you can see in this drawing that I did, I just sketched this flower out with, I used a 0.5 and a 0.7 for this drawing. And then I started coloring it with my colored pencils. I was just playing around. So I wanted you guys to see, I wish I had left that uncolored for you guys before. This whole thing's going to be colored when I get done, so it doesn't matter. But I thought this is a great, I thought it would be great to show you kind of how easy it is to sketch things and details with this set by showing you this. So this we will be using to draw. Thank you, Golden Girl. Thank you, Feral Mom. So we'll be using this today to draw out our little, our drawing today, which we are going to be doing a hippopotamus today. I love hippos, and I found one that I love. So we're going to do that today. So we'll be using this to sketch it out. Okay. The other thing we're going to be doing is we will be using the Meeden brushes. I have the 4 brush set, which is the 1, 3, 5, and the 7. So this is the set of brushes that we will be using, and these brushes are absolutely amazing. They come with your ferrule that is designed not to rust. So if these get wet, they're not going to rust and get into your art, which is great. They hold their tip really well, so you can even do detail work with some of these larger brushes because of the tip size. If I were to, like when you can just see how simple and easy it is for this tip to, if you use it this way, you can do detail work, even though this is a bigger brush. They also have this ergonomically correct handle, so you don't have to, it reduces hand fatigue if you're painting for a long period of time. And they're very short, so you can control your strokes really easily. And they hold a ton of water, and they hold their shape really well because they are synthetic squirrel hair. So I love this set. They do make a 9 brush set. I have the 4 brush set, and I love it. I haven't felt the need for the nine different sizes, but if you like more sizes than this, then I would highly suggest going with the 9 brush set. So we'll be using that. And this is a good professional set that won't break the bank. A brush like this is, if you're buying a single brush, you can pay upwards of $30 or $40 for just one brush. And this set is actually on a flash sale right now. And I think it's under $30 for the whole set. So that's a deal. I'm not sure what the pricing is on it. You'll have to click the link and check it for sure. But it's definitely not $40 a brush, which is great. So we want to make sure that we have good brushes because that does affect your art. So you do want to have a good brush set. It really does make a difference. But this is a good professional brush set that's not going to break the bank for you. So, so that's what we're going to be using on that. And then, let's see. Hang on one second, you guys. I need to check something for my daughter. She just texted me. She's a wedding photographer, and every time she gets an inquiry, she has to check with me on the date because I usually keep her kids. So I just want to make sure that I don't have anything on the date that she's asking me for. Let's see. All right. I'm going to let her know that I'm open for that date. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're going to be using that. And then we are going to also be using our detail brushes, which are the Golden Maple. Okay, those are these right here. It's the 0, the 1, and the 00. So these are the brushes that I'll be using for detail work. And they're very, very nice as well. So I generally use this one, the 0. So that's the one that I'll probably use, but all three of these brushes are great. And again, they have this type ferrule. It doesn't rust. They're short, so I can control my strokes pretty easy. I like really short brushes. So must have beautiful pictures of your grandchildren with Herbie. Oh, I do. Yes, I absolutely do. Golden girl. I have amazing photos of my grandchildren. I have amazing photos, though, of her as well when she was little, because my aunt was a professional photographer when she was growing up, and she loved to use my daughter as her subject when she was practicing. And so I have a ton of really beautiful photos of my daughter as well. So I've just been really blessed with the fact that God's put a lot of photographers in my life. So I've got good documentation. So but she's a travel photographer, so if anybody's, ever needing her for a wedding, she does travel, and also she does travel for other photo opportunities as well. So, and she's really, really reasonable in her pricing. So, if you guys are looking for a photographer, she's under Featherlight Photos here on TikTok. So, Featherlight Photos is her TikTok page. Okay, so we're going to do we're going to do a hippo today. I want you guys to see this. This is an inspiration photo only. It is not what our end result is going to look like, but I do want you guys to see. I think he's super cute. I really, really liked this image just because it's got the pink cheeks, and I love the feet and all the things. So this is what we are going to do today. All right. So if you guys are looking if you guys need to take a screenshot, go ahead and screenshot this now, because this is your moment to grab that. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are going to get started on this. Okay. One other thing that I forgot to tell you guys that we will be using is colored pencils, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. I'm going to be using the So Color colored pencils to do the shading on this. And then also we will be using these grabby multi-liner pens for our detail work as well. And these multi-liners are great in that they are waterproof. And they won't like smear if you put water on them or anything like that. So we'll be using those as well. And they're here somewhere. Y'all, I'm always searching for these grabby multi-liner pens. They're always eluding me. They try to hide from me all the time. Let's see. That's not them. That's not them. Okay, well, I'll find them when I need them. I don't need them just yet, so... Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to be using the Mead & paper. If anybody has any questions about the paper that I'm using, that is the paper I will be using. I use the 5x7 size, which means that, all right, guys, I'm going to have to let my dog out. He's driving me crazy. Hang on. Come on, out. Go. All right. Okay, so if, oh, here's my grabby multi-liners. Here they are. Let me pull them out for you guys so y'all can see them. Ugh. So these are the grabby multi-liners. And the great thing about these is they have the 003, which is the very smallest size. I have not ever seen this size in the other brand that I used to use. So I love the fact that these have this smaller size. In the other brand that I used to use, the smallest size that I had was a 005. So this was the smallest size in that. Was the 005. I don't know if y'all can see that. But these, they have the 005, but then they also have the 003. So I love that. They also have all of these in the 05 size in colors, which I love because we can use those for colored details as well. So this is the set that we'll be using when we get to that. All right. Okay, and I'm going to be using the Meeden paper, which I need to pull out a sheet of that because I am out of my cut sizes. Now, let me tell you what I did. I did a Meeden, I ordered quite a bit of paper from the Zon, and I did not like it, but it was pre-cut, so it was like this, okay? It was all pre-cut paper. It looks really nice, but when you start to use it, it is not. And I really don't like it at all. So I shifted back to the Meeden paper, which I have to cut to size. And one of the things I will tell you about this Meeden paper is that if you get the 5x7 size, then you can use, hang on, let me pull it up for you guys. You can get 3 or you can get 4 of the ACEO sizes out of one sheet of this Meeden paper. So you're not wasting anything because it divides equally to give you 4 2.5 by 3.5 inch sizes with no waste. So I love the fact that the 5x7 breaks down into 4 of the ACEO sizes because that is what I use. And so I am back to this paper and I'm back to cutting it myself because I have not been able to find pre-cut ACEO size paper that I like. This paper by Meeden is, so far, I've not found anything that even comes close to it. So if you guys are, you know, when you ask about paper, it does matter because this paper is so good and so amazing that I just haven't been able to switch from it. So, so when you ask about paper, that is for sure the paper that I recommend. Hi, Debbie. How are you this morning? Glad you are here. We're about to get started on our tutorial as soon as I get this cut. So I need a 3.5. Just give me just 1 second, guys. I just have to cut this really quickly. This was from another size that I had cut. And let's see. I need 2.5. So I got to measure this out. Okay. Alexa, play Spotify. Okay, 2.5 by 3.5. All right, there is our ACO size. Oh, well, that's better than the alternative, Debbie, I got to tell you. Because at least you're hanging in there, right? Okay. Okay, the other thing I want to show you guys, though, just before we get started, is I got this sent to me, y'all. You know that I've had my same one for like forever. I've had it for probably 10 years, and it has epoxy and paint and, you know, just everything on it is in not great shape. It works great, but it's, you know, it looks terrible. However, Let's Resin reached out to me and asked if they could send me this to try it. So I'm going to be using a new heat gun today because I want to try this out. Now, I don't know that there's a lot of difference between heat guns, guys. I don't know. The only heat gun I've ever owned was this pink one that I have, and also I had an industrial one that my husband borrowed and then broke because he was using it to refinish some furniture, and he was trying to get the stuff off the furniture, the paint off the furniture, so he ended up burning it up. So those are the only two that I've ever owned. So I just want you guys to know that this, I'm not sure what these are. Can somebody tell me what these are? It looks to me like tips for this? I don't really know. Is it supposed to have, like, maybe it's a cover for it? Like that. So that's kind of cool, I guess. This is the stand. So it's pretty similar to, it's got, I bet that's what these are for, to hold these things. So these have tips. It has tips to do different, like, intensities and stuff. So that's kind of nice. So I'll have to read the instructions later, but I did want to pull it out and at least use it today on my live since they were kind enough to send it to me. I'll do some videos on it later, but because I want to use it so that you guys know that I am using this heat gun this morning instead of my normal pink one that is in a hot mess shape. So I'm going to plug this in. So when we're drying, we will be using this today. It's got 2 speeds too. It's got a low and a high, which is kind of nice. My other one does not have that. So that's good. So we're going to be using that this morning as my heat gun. All right. So I think I've gone through everything. We've seen our inspiration photo. If you guys want to see the inspiration photo again before we get started, I am happy to do that for you. I'm going to put you guys on my taller tripod so you have the view from above before we get started. So let's look at the inspiration photo one more time before we get started on the tutorial so that you guys have an opportunity to screenshot it if you need to. So this is the hippo we're going to be doing today. Remember, this is just an inspiration photo, okay? It's AI generated. There is no, we're not going to do it exactly like this. We're not copying someone's art. This was an AI generated image. We're going to just use this as inspiration to create our own art. Okay. So go ahead, screenshot it if you need it for inspiration to see before we start drawing it. I want you guys to make sure that if you need a screenshot, you have the opportunity to do that. So here is your opportunity. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We are going to get started. Let me get my other tripod set up for you guys so you'll have the view from above, because I don't want you guys to be able to see it from the right angle. So let me move this stuff right here. I don't want you guys to be... All right, and if I cover the microphone up, let me know if there's a problem with hearing me and what I'm saying. So I don't want to do that. All right, but I do want to make sure that you guys can see. And let's see. All right, I think that's probably good. Now I'm going to tape my edges down, and I tape them to some wood because I want to make sure that I can spin my image when I need to. So when we tape this down, we will be taping it down onto a small piece of wood. That way I'm able to move it around. All right, guys. Okay, are we good? Y'all give me some thumbs up in the comments or some readies so I know that you guys are ready to get going. I'm going to use, actually I need to get some water in my water thing, so hang on one second. Let me do that. I want to make sure we have plenty of water to finish our art today in my meat and paint toilet. They still have not come back. These have still not come back into stock, which I hate because these are so amazing. This is one of my favorite products from Meeden, is this meat and paint toilet, because it is an easy way to keep my water fresh. Okay, we are good to go. So I'm going to be using washi tape today for my tape. You can use painter's tape. You can use the Meeden paint tape if you want to. I'm not a fan. For me, it leaked, so I didn't like it, which is not a good thing because I love Meeden products and I hate not being able to recommend their tape. But unfortunately, it just didn't work well for me. And I liked it because I like being able to see through to tape your edges off so you can see like what your border looks like. So you can get your border even on all sides, but it leaked really bad for me. And I didn't get clean border lines, so I just don't use it anymore. I don't know why my Alexa's not working. Alexa, play Spotify.
The Quiet Beneath the Swell by Harmonic Pathways on Spotify.
There we go. All right. I don't think that it's turned up. Okay. So all we're doing right now is getting our border taped off so we know exactly where our image is. I'm leaving about a 1/4 inch. Oh, I have a gnat. A 1/4 inch border on my paper. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get rid of that gnat. Okay. All the way around. All right. So, let's see. Okay. I don't know what's going on here, y'all. Why am I? Spotify isn't working. There it is. All right. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start drawing. Hi, Stacy Lee. How's it going? Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, we are about to get going on our design. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame here. We're doing a hippo today, Stacy. Let me show you really quickly what it looks like. I'm gonna have to take you off of here though to do it. All right, guys, this is the hippo that we're working on. Isn't he cute? Go ahead and screenshot it so you have it, Stacy Lee. That's the hippo. He's our inspiration. It's not gonna be just like this, obviously. You guys know how I work if you've been on here before. But this is your inspiration photo for what we're gonna do today. I'm fixing to show you how to draw it, and then we're gonna put some color to it, all right? Okay, let's go ahead and get you back on the tripod here so that you guys have a good view. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna draw, this is gonna, I'm just giving me some guidelines to know when I'm in screen because I can't see y'all when I sit down to paint. So I'm gonna make sure I keep my box in the screen. So, so I'm giving myself some guidelines. That'll come up with alcohol when I wipe down my desk. So, okay, we're gonna be using the Grabby paints today. All right, so if you guys are ready for that, I'm excited about trying these paints out. Now, like I said, I've never used them before, but we're gonna play with them together, and I'm gonna kind of see how they compare to what I'm used to using, and also kind of how you know, easy it is for us to look at the colors that we need. All right, so we're going to be using those. All right, I'm going to be using my 05 mechanical pencil from the Nick Pro set. So hang on one second and let me go up here. All right, so I'm going to use this Nick Pro set mechanical pencil set for our drawing. All right, so when we draw our hippo, we are going to start out in the center with the heart. And remember the other day I told you guys I learned a lesson because I did the heart too big when we did the bunny rabbit. So today I'm going to make sure that I don't make that heart too big. Okay, we're going to do a smaller heart so I have room to do my hippo and everything that I want to do with him. So I'm going to make this smaller. And go ahead and draw the whole thing, even though his hands are going to be around it. But I made my heart much smaller this time, and that gives me space to work. All right. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the bottom half of him from his hands, starting with his hands. All right. So we're going to take a section of the heart and erase it because we're going to put his little hand there. And his little hand is just basically an oval. So we don't have to do his fingers and stuff yet. We're going to do those with color. All right. So we've got his oval hand that comes all the way around like this. Okay, so go ahead and do an oval for his hand. And then we're going to bring his arm up and around like this. And the other part of the line is this right here of the heart. So that's the other part of his arm. Okay, same thing over here, but on this side, we're going to bring, his hand is going to be a little bit more defined in the fingers. So we're going to do little finger marks. And then we're going to bring his arm all the way up and around like that. And in comparison to the other arm, it's actually lower because his head's kind of tilted. So we want to stop right at the tip of the heart, like even with the heart here. Okay. We can go ahead and bring that hand in like that if we want to give it some definition. All right. How are we doing so far? Yes. Yeah, these pencils are great, Stacey Lee. Yes, your giraffe was beautiful. I loved it. Loved it. It was great. Well, I gotta find my water. I know it's here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it, but I need it. I gotta stand up and look around the room. You know how things like just, they jump out at you and they're like right in front of you, but yet you don't see them. That's how I feel when I'm looking for my water in this room. They're like, it's right in front of my face, but I don't see it. Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, so we have his arms and his hands done. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to his... You know what? Let's change this just because I want it to be... I want to have his fingers to find in both of them. So I've decided. So we're going to go like this in this one as well and make his fingers stand out. Bring his hand in just a tad. We're going to do it just the way we did the other one. And this one kind of comes further across here like that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do his little hips. So his hips are basically a big oval, okay, with a flat bottom. So we're going like this around, and we're going like this around. Okay, and we're gonna bring his feet slightly down like this. Space and slightly down like this. And his feet are like paw prints. So we can go ahead and just create the paw print like this. And then we can go around and just trace around it like that to get his feet. So circle, 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 big circle, and then trace around the feet. All right, so that's how we get his little body. And then we're gonna do his head. Now, when we do his head, let's think about the fact that this heart is now where his teeth are gonna attach. So his teeth kind of go a little bit over the top of the heart. So you're gonna go ahead and erase the area where you want the tooth to go. And you're gonna draw in that tooth. So it's gonna be like this. It's like a square right here. And then just above this one is the other tooth right there. And his mouth kind of goes across the teeth, up and down and across like that. And then that gives us the ability to go ahead now and draw his cheeks. I'm gonna bring that down. Okay, so his cheeks go like this. They're big and round all the way around like this. Okay, so that's his cheek. This one's kind of flat here. Let's make that bigger. Okay, so we're gonna go around like this. Okay. Okay, so that's his little snout. And then we're gonna do his little head. Goes like this. And his eyes like this. And his ears are like little teardrops. And then he's got his little hair right there at the top. Okay, so we have our little sketch. Now the idea is to go ahead and tweak anything we don't like, okay? So if you have something on it that you think is off, or you don't necessarily like the way that it looks, then go ahead and erase and begin to make any changes. So here is what I definitely would want to change. First of all, his hips right here, I feel like they need to be a little shorter. So I'm gonna bring that out a little bit more and make them shorter. And then also I feel like this time I made the heart almost too small because I was being conservative on that heart. But I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna worry about it. His hip here needs to kind of come into his foot more. So I'm gonna bring that down a little more closely to his foot. Although that makes him look a little weird. So maybe I won't do that. All right, we're gonna leave him like that. Okay, now we have to draw his little nose holes. Same as our giraffe with the little U over the top of it, okay? And we've got a little divider nose right there, like that. Okay? All right, now remember, we're gonna trust this process, guys, okay? I know that it's tempting to go, oh my gosh, he looks so off. But once we get the color on him and everything, it will be fine, I promise. You just have to trust this process, okay? So don't be afraid to just keep going and trust the process, all right? I'm gonna use my kneaded eraser on him and get rid of all of the heavy lines. Maybe if I can get it to roll. Just because I don't want these lines to be too heavy. Okay. All right. So we've got our base drawing done and we are ready to get started with color. So everybody give me some feedback in the comments and let me know where you're at. Are you ready to move on? If you have any questions about the drawing, anything like that, those of you who are drawing and painting with me, I want to make sure that we have, we are on track together. Okay. So let me know with a thumbs up in the comments that you're ready to start putting color on. Okay. And remember, we're going to use the Grabby foldable watercolor set today. I'm going to pin that below. That is this set right here. It has the fold out palette for mixing. And then you've got your guide of all of your colors along the bottom. And you just open them and slide them out. So that is what we're going to use today for our painting, okay? Jennifer is ready to go. Awesome, Jennifer. Thank you for that thumbs up. Okay, we're gonna use our Meeden brushes as well. And we're gonna open up not the first layer. We're going to open up the bottom layer of our right side of our palette because I want to use the gray and the blacks for the base of the hippo. And also we want to use, and it's going to be very, very light, but we also probably will want to use some of this, skin tone color too for some of that. So I'm going to end up having to mix a color together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water on my palette right here. Okay. And I am going, one of the things that I am seeing immediately is that you need a lot of room for this palette because it opens way out. So it's small and compact when it's folded up, but it's definitely not when you're using it. So I'm going to use this color right here, which is the F62. Okay, it's kind of a skin tone, and I'm going to put that in. I'm going to mix that here. I'm going to rinse my brush, and then I'm going to get a little bit of the gray C44, which is right here. And I'm going to mix that in with that color. And it's still a little dark, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. Guys, this is creamy stuff here. This paint is really buttery and creamy. That is one of the things I'm noticing right off the bat with this, which is great. I just want it to have a little bit of a gray tint to it. I don't want it to be too much. But that looks about perfect. Okay, so that's the color I've managed to mix. I have mixed this color and this color together. So it's the C44 and the F62 are the two colors that I mixed together. I'm going to close this up now so that I have room to use it. And I'm going to set it right here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put our color in everything. I want to make sure we have the inside of our ears drawn out, so that we don't mess that up. Okay. All right. Now we're going to just put a base on everything. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do his arms, his hands, and his belly. All the color that I just mixed. Going around the heart. And I'm just mixing that color. I'm just putting that color on everything. On his hands. Even up underneath his teeth in this center area, which will eventually be shaded almost dark and black. But we're going to go ahead and use this color in that area too for now, until we get ready to do the shading. Okay, so go ahead and just get all of those areas filled in with your base color. Okay, his feet also. And don't worry about the pads of his feet. We will put that color over the top in a little while, so you can just paint directly over it. You don't have to go around the pads of his feet. Okay, and remember, you have to trust the process, okay? This is going to look like a hot mess for a little while, and that's okay. All right, so let's go over his snout. We do want to go around his eyes, so don't put any of this color in his eyes. Or his teeth. But everything else can have color. This base color. It's like a grayish skin tone. Y'all, I didn't make it on yesterday for a live because my daughter and I decided at the last minute that we wanted to go thrifting because we knew that everybody's kind of getting rid of their stuff this time of year. So we went up to the Woodlands and we did we have this whole track that we do, like from the Woodlands all the way back down to home, which is about an hour and a half. And so we went and we got caught up yesterday. I was going to come and do a live tomorrow last night, but we got so caught up and had so much fun out thrifting that I never made it on live yesterday. So, okay. So now we have our base of our hippo done. Make sure I've got everything colored in. Okay, so we have him done. Now, one of the things I want to make sure that we do is his cheeks, because they're going to be nice and pink, and we want those cheeks to kind of be spread out. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to make sure it's still wet. Okay, make sure that area of his cheeks that you want to put the pink in are wet. And we're going to open up. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to open up my palette to this pink color right here, which is going to be the F63. And no worries, Feral Mom, you didn't miss me. Sorry, I was catching up on comments. I'm going to take a little bit of this pink. Hang on, let me go ahead and get my paper towel, rinse my brush, get some fresh water, and take some of this pink, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of it here and here along his cheeks. Okay. And then I am going to add clear water and just pick some of that up so that it doesn't overpower his cheeks, but it shows the pink there because we want his cheeks to be pink. Okay. So now we have the pinkness of his cheeks. Also, yes, this will be uploaded to my tube of you. It will. The replay will be up. Okay, all of the replays for all of these are already up on there. So if you missed any of these tutorials, thank you, Stacey Lee, for reminding me. If you missed any of these tutorials, they're already uploaded. So you can get those whenever you want to. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let me get back to my reference photo here. Okay, so we have his cheeks. Also right above his cheeks right here is also needs to have some pink to it. So let's go ahead and pull that back out and do that same thing. Okay, we're gonna put some pink right here and right here. And remember, if you get too much, you just dry your brush and just kind of pick up some of that color with a dry brush. Okay, so we've got his pink cheeks there. And then we'll do his ears. But we won't, with his ears, I want us to do, I don't want it to do a wet on wet. I want it to be a wet on dry. So go ahead and just add that pink into his ear right here when it's dry, because you want those to be a little bit darker. And we will shade these in and do some shading with them in a minute. So don't worry about it being exact, just enough to have the pink there. All right. Same thing with his feet. Okay. We're going to do, I want to do the light and the dark pink on his feet. So I'm going to do this light pink color first. And I'm just going to go over the pads of his feet right here in this circle. Then I'm going to take this darker pink and I'm going to put that on this left side. So he's going to kind of have like a shadow on the left side of his foot. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to do the pink, the light pink right here. And then we're going to do, hang on, I got a little bit too much water there. Then we'll do the dark pink on the left side. So he has kind of a shadow on that, on his foot there. Okay. And then we'll just touch the toes. With that pink as well. A little bit of dark on the left side of each one of those toes. Okay, so we have a little bit of dimension there. And go ahead and give it a pass with your heat gun. Okay. Oh, look, this is much quieter than my other one, you guys. Remember how loud my other one was? So this new one is crazy quiet. Wow, I'm impressed. All right, I know he looks like a hot mess, and that's okay. Remember, we're going to be putting some detail and shading and all that stuff in a minute, so there's no reason to panic if he looks crazy right now. Okay? Just know that he won't. Okay? All right, so nice and dry. I used the low setting, so let's see. High setting is a little bit louder, but even the high setting, you guys, is really quiet on this gun, on this heat gun. So, all right. What color did you do the back? I didn't do the background. Dang it, Stacey Lee, I forgot. What was the phrase that you used for? Tina, I just simply upload a piece of my art. So like I would upload a couple of photos of some of my art and say, this is my art style. Please generate me a picture of a hippo in my art style to use as inspiration to paint. And it'll generate one for you. All right, let's go ahead now and, yeah, I didn't do the background, which makes me sad. Okay, let's go ahead and do the background while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to do a purple background. So we're going to do, so in order to do that, guys, because we forgot to do the background, which makes me super sad. Y'all have to remind me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just wet everything around him, but I'm going to do it in kind of like in sections. We're going to do really light purple for his background. Just lots of water so that it's not super dark. Okay. Normally I would do this whole thing before I even started putting color on him, and I just forgot today, y'all. So we're going to do it now. I'm just going to put purple in here. Okay, I don't want it to be super dark. I just want it to be just enough to give me a frame when I peel my tape. I'm glad you asked about that, Stacy Lee. It's not enough color that if it gets on him, it's going to affect what he looks like. So even if it gets on him a little bit, I'm not worried about that because it's not going to affect the look of him. But it is going to give me a little bit of a frame around him. All right, so now he's got a background on him. Okay, so let's go ahead and dry that background. Where can you do that with photos to generate pictures on the computer? I do it with ChatGPT. Yeah, so even the high setting on this heat thing is very quiet compared to my other one, y'all. My other one was really loud. So I definitely like that about this. So that's my first positive in comparison to my old heat gun. So just so you guys know. All right, let's go ahead and do our heart. We're going to use, let me see what I want to use for my heart. I'm going to go ahead and use this pink, this same pink for my heart. I'm going to use this as the base. And then we'll put some shadow in on it. Okay, so just fill that color in. And I think this is supposed to be a cookie, like a heart cookie. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and use this darker red here. Just give it a little bit of a shadow on this left side. And then rinse my brush and kind of just blend all that out. And then we'll dry it. Okay, so you guys can see kind of how that blended together when we added that shadow on that left side. ChatGPT, Stacy Lee, ChatGPT. That's what I use for inspiration images. I just put a couple pictures of my art in there and say, this is my art style. Can you please generate me an image for inspiration of a hippo so that I can paint it? And it will generate it for me. GPT. G as in goblin. Okay, guys, now it is time to start bringing this little fella to life. So we are going to now close up our paint for a short period of time because we'll have to bring it back out in a minute. Let's go ahead and get our detail brush out first. Yes, GPT, that's right. And we are going to, let's get the black out first. Let's do the eyes. Okay. So I'm going to use this is my number 1 Golden Maple detail brush. Okay, which is going to be right here. Okay, these are the brushes that I'm using currently. And we're going to put his eyes in. And they're just going to be teeny tiny little circles right here. And right here. And we'll put our white in those in just a little while. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go around his eyes. With this detail brush as well. Okay, so you guys can see that. Now, across his little nose, right here, we're going to do that with our grabby multi-liners. All right, so I'm going to put that up, close up this paint. We're going to pull out our grabby multi-liners. Now, guys, this is where he's going to start really coming to life. So I want you guys to notice what he looks like now, okay? Because I want you to see the difference in the detail of how he looks right now compared to when we put the black detail lines on, and then compared to when we put the pencil shading in. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick photo of this because I want to have it for some things. So let me see. Okay, I want to switch this around. That's not what I want. Okay, let me just take that picture real fast. Okay, sorry guys, I wanted to have that before because I want to see the different stages. Okay, now we are going to pull out our grabby multi-liner pens. I'm going to use the 005 to start. Even though I'm going to go to the 003 in a little while, we're going to use the 005 at first, okay? So let me pull these up for you guys right here. These are waterproof, archival. They are very, very comparable to this brand right here. If you guys know what this brand is, this is what I normally would use, but these have better sizes and colors, and I'm going to use the 005. I will be using those. Have better sizes and colors, and I'm going to use the 005. I will be using the 003, and I might even be using the 01. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull it out just in case. Okay. So those are what we are using for this. Okay. So what I want for everybody to do is I want you to get whatever detail pen you like to use. I'm going to use the 005 and pull it out because we are about to start putting in some detail on our little hippo dude. Okay. Our little hippo man. Okay, so we're going to go across his little face to give him his little nose detail. And we're just going to sketch it first, okay? We're using the 005 to sketch. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to think about just short strokes. And sketch him in short strokes like that. Okay, so we have his little nose sketched out. Let's go ahead and sketch out his tooth also. Okay, now close up your 005 if you have these grabby multi-liners, and get your 003. Now, if you don't have the grabby multi-liners and you're using the other brand, you just stick with your 005. All right. The difference is this is going to be a little bit of a finer line when you're using the grabby multi-liners. Okay. So you're going to get a little bit better of detail with the 003. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to start giving him his little sketch lines and detail lines, okay, across his nose here. And you're going to get that really fine shading with this 005. You can also start giving him his little hair with these. That's going to kind of come off of him. On the edges. And it's very short, and it's not going to be a ton of hair feathers coming off. We're just, now off to the sides, we're going to do the little, you know, pop out flower things that are coming off of him, but we're not going to do that right now. Currently, we're just getting the detail on him and shading with the multi-liner. So we're kind of going on the inside of that first sketch line and just giving him some extra detail. You can follow the contour of his face and add in some around the cheeks. Very, very small, faint lines with this, almost dots even. Because you don't want to overdo it and make it look strange, but you definitely want him to have some very light detail work along the cheeks. That's where this 003 comes in. It's so fine. You can get really small strokes. Just giving him some dots. Random. And then I'm going to go around his nose holes. Okay, now I'm going to close this 003 up. I'm going to pull out the 01. And that's what I'm going to do his nose holes with. Okay, so now his nose has got, or his snout has got a little bit of detail and definition to it. Now, it's not a lot, but that's okay, because when we bring our colored pencils in, we're going to define all of that out into shadows. All right. Thanks, Make and Bloom. What brand of watercolor pencils do you recommend and like personally the most? Samantha, from a watercolored pencil standpoint, I don't really use watercolor pencils. I use the Neo 2 watercolor crayons, and I really like those. I don't really have a brand of watercolor pencils that I use, because it's not been a medium that I've really reached out to try. So that might be something that I probably need to do, and maybe expand my repertoire of mediums. So, but if anybody has a brand that they like, please put it in the comments for her. Because that is not a question that I can answer for you. Like I said, I use the Neo 2 watercolor crayons, and I love, love, love those. They are amazing. I'm back to sorry, got to go to the 005, guys. Go back to the 005 for our outline again. So now that you kind of know the process of what we're going to do the whole thing with this 005, and then we'll go back with our 003 for the detail. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and just sketch the whole thing with your 005 to give him his outline. And I know he still looks like a hot mess, but he's not gonna when we get done. Don't worry, he will be amazing as always when we get finished with him. Okay. I kind of try to sketch him like he's furry. That's kind of how I do my first base sketch. So that he kind of has the idea of being furry, but I add the fur and the extra detail with the 003. Now you can do it all with the 005 if you don't have an 003 size. I just go with short sketch lines. I love his little paw prints. Okay, so that's all with the 0.005 or with the 005. We're going to switch to the 003, which is the smaller one, for the extra detail work that we're going to put on him. And that's just going to be basically what we're doing is we're going to kind of be creating these shadows and shading. Here up underneath his chin, we're going to do some of that kind of cross hatching shadow, because we want that to be kind of a darker area. And when we do our colored pencil, that's really going to make that kind of stand out. We also want to do that right here up underneath his chin. And a little bit right here as well. Because we know he's going to have this shade up underneath his snout, because that's over, like it's hanging over his mouth, because this is like his mouth kind of opened here, so we want that to kind of be dark. Okay, and we're going to bring in some shading where we would see like wrinkles as his arm bends, and a little bit of hair coming off of him. Not much, because hippos aren't they're not really hairy, but I want him to look kind of fluffy. Fluffy is the word I'm looking for. And of course we will, you know, make that more defined as we add that shading with the pencils. So I'm going to kind of I'm following the contour of his body to kind of make these lines that we know we want to have. And then of course here too, we're going to follow kind of the contour of his feet. And the great part about using this little 003 is that you can even do detail work in those smaller areas and it not be overpowering from a shading standpoint, which is great. Make him. And again, you can do this. You can do like dots, small dashes, things like that to bring out like the shading around what you want to really have that shade to it. Now I am going to, again, be adding colored pencils into this. So you just kind of want to I just give myself kind of an idea where I want that shading to go with this pencil. I mean, with the multi-liner that I've got. And then we know there's going to be some shadow under the heart as well, like right here and under his arms, because that's going to kind of emit a shadow. So you want to put some shadowing in on there. And then you also want to have some right where you feel like there's going to be shadowing over the hip. This whole side right here is probably going to have more of a shadow, so I'm going to bring that a little, make that a little thicker on this side. And then also I want to have some, you know, some just marks throughout the whole thing that kind of give it depth and dimension. So dots and small little dashes. Okay, so now we kind of have some idea of like where we're going to do our pencil shadowing, because we've done kind of that shadowing along the edges of him, so that we kind of know we want his ears right here to be shadowed. And then right here, we're going to give him some little hair. And then right off to the side here, off his cheeks, I'm going to bring out some of that as well. This is where those little flowery whiskers were coming out of him. So we're adding that on as well. Okay, now if we want that to be even more pronounced, we can actually add some little flower ends on these, and we'll put a little bit of a pink tint to them with our colored pencil. So I'm gonna add the ends of these. This is still the 003. It's very subtle. I'm just doing a V with a little slit in the middle. Okay, so now he has his little flowers coming off of him. You can even have one like kind of hang down if you wanted to, like a rogue whisker hanging down. You could add him to the top of his hair here too if you wanted to, so that he's got gives him a little bit more personality. Yeah. Love, love, love. Okay, so now we have the details with the multi-liner done. So what I'm going to do now is I want you to take note again. Now remember how he looked when he was flat? Now I want you to think, okay, now he's got some detail on him. So I want to show you guys. I took this photo for a reason. Okay. This is what he looked like before. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Okay, so this is what he looked like before the multi-liner, after the multi-liner. Okay. For people who are new on here, Ellen, what colored pencils do you recommend? I also highly recommend putting the paper under the wood because you could spin it. Yes. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up on comments. Okay, guys, so you saw the difference. So now what we're going to do, I also took a picture of him like this because we're fixing to add our colored pencils. So our colored pencils, we're going to be using the So Color colored pencils. I will pin them below for you guys so you know what brand I use. I have a new brand that's coming in that I'm going to try that has more color options than just the 72. But I told you guys, if I don't find a brand that I love as much as I love these, that has more colors, then I will continue to use these because I love this brand. They're very, very pigmented, but also they're creamy. They don't break when you sharpen them, which is really a plus. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I love about these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the gray. I'm going to pull out the, what is this, Celadon. So these two grays, basically. The white and the black I'm going to need. And then we're going to need, let me see what other color I'm going to need out of here. We're going to do, I'm going to need this peach color, light coral. I'm going to need the light pink, which is a blush. So we'll need these two colors. So something similar to these is what you're looking for if you have whatever colored pencil set you use. The apricot I'll be using. And the coral. So I've got a blush, a coral, a light coral, and an apricot. And I'm probably going to need a dark, like a coffee or a sepia. I don't know if I need a sepia or a coffee. I think I'm going to do the coffee color. I may not use this one, but just in case, I'm pulling the coffee. And then we're going to need a pink for the cheeks. I'm going to do the light peach. Okay, so those are the colors that I've got pulled. I may pull some more if I feel like I need to. But remember when we are doing the shading for these, excuse me, the way that we do it is we layer. So you do a light touch the first layer. You do a medium touch the second time, and then you do a heavy pressure the next time. Okay? And that's going to kind of bring out the shading that we want in him. Okay? So, let's go ahead and start with his head and snout area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these three colors right here. So what I have is the apricot, the light coral, and the dark coral. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the apricot first, and I'm going to just give it a slight light touch where I want that shading to go. Okay. Then I'm going to take the medium. I'm going to take this light coral, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to come out quite as far with that. And then I'm going to do the dark, and I'm going to stay close to the edge with the dark. Okay. And that's going to give him, he's going to start giving him some dimension and bringing him to life. Okay. Again, this time we're doing medium pressure. Okay. Then the light coral. And I'm using the closest colors that I had, just so you guys know. He's not, he was initially this kind of grayish peachy color. And so that's why I chose this coral color. That's why I said I'm hoping that I can find a set of pencils that have more color options, because I don't have the color options that I absolutely needed for this color. Now I could have used the grays, but I felt like that would be a little too dark. I'm going to use the grays under here, so you can see how that's going to look. But for now, this is what we're doing. All right, now we're on heavy pressure this time. So you're going to see kind of how he starts to come to life now with this shading that we're doing. We're going to use the dark. Okay, so now you can see kind of how the difference in what he looks like the depth of his head versus his snout. His snout is really, really flat. And now his head has got some dimension and roundness to it. It feels dimensional now. And that is what happens when you start adding these colored pencils in, okay? I'm going to take this light color one more time across here, because I feel like he needs a little bit of shading right around his eyes right here. So I'm going to bring that in. And that just kind of brought that together. Now, I'm going to show you, I take the white, go over the lighter areas to blend that out. And that kind of brings it all together and blends it and smooths it all together. Love it. Look how cute. He's going to be super cute, you guys. Okay, now I want to do his eyes. So what I'm going to do with his eyes is I'm going to take this light, this pale red gray, and I'm going to go right along the interior left side and along the bottom right here of his eye. Same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to go right along the interior and bottom of his eye with that. Okay, then I'm going to take the dark, and I'm going to just, almost like I'm outlining it, I'm just going to go along here and here. Okay, now you see how that kind of gave his eyes like a rounded feel to them? So that is the power of colored pencil and shading, is that it gives dimension and depth to your drawing. It keeps it from being flat. Okay, and that's what we're about to do with his whole body. We're about to make him less flat. Okay, all right, so let's see. Go back to our peachy color. We're going to start with our light. Okay, and we're going to go all over his little snout where we want that shading to be. Okay, and we're not going to go the pink cheeks. I'm going to leave those because we're going to use some pink to do that shading. So just go, you know, where around his little pink cheeks. Okay, then we're going to do the medium, and we're going to come out not quite as far though. We're not going to go all the way. We're just going to go a little bit in. And then we're going to do the dark, and we're going to stay close to the edges with the dark. Okay, like this. Okay, then we're going to do it again. Medium pressure this time. Go over everything again with medium pressure. You don't have to go the same direction. If you want to go in an opposite direction so that you don't get those pencil lines, that's okay too. You can go however you want to do that. It doesn't have to be one direction. Medium pressure, or I'm sorry, yeah, medium pressure with the medium coral. Don't go as far out so that it's going to have that ombre look. That's what we're going for. And then the dark. And this is where I have to make that decision. Do I want to add in some of that coffee to make that shading pop? But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait till I get the cheeks done, and then I'll make that decision. Okay. Heavy pressure over the whole thing. Heavy pressure with just a little ways. Let me make sure. Oops, wrong one. This, that might have been a happy little accident though, because that looks good. All right. And then the dark. Okay. All right, now I take the white. I'm going to blend this out in the middle here. Then we'll do the cheeks, and then we'll decide if we need some of that coffee around the edges. Okay. All right, so here's the cheeks. We're going to do the blush and the light peach. Okay. All right. Do you ever get restricted on live for no reason? Sometimes I do. Yeah, I've gotten kicked off before for no reason. Okay. All right, so we're going to use the light pink first with a light pressure. We're going to go right along the cheeks here. And then we're going to use the dark, and we're going to go just right along the sides of the cheeks. Right here. Again, this time medium pressure. And our dark. And now heavy pressure. Okay. And then we take our white and we blend all of this out. And that gives him his little pink cheeks. And we've got to go around his little nose. And that's where we're going to do this gray. And probably a little bit of black too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and perfect. Good, Stacey Lee. You'll like them both. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do the light gray right here. All the way around his little nose. And then I'm going to do the dark gray right on the inside. And then we'll do the black. That's just going to be right along the edge. And bring his little nose, his nose out. I'm going to take that gray and go right up underneath here too. Just remember when you're doing small areas, you don't have to do as much layering as you do when you're doing larger areas because it's a smaller area. But you do want to blend it out and make sure that it, you know, blends together really well. Okay, so there's his nose. Now, here is where the little flowers come in. Let me sharpen this. I'm going to use this blush color. And I'm going to just add a little bit of pink to those flowers. Okay, so now his little flowers have some little pink to them, which I think is super cute, y'all. All right, now let's look at the teeth. The teeth, I want to have... I feel like I need to use the multi-liner for that. We're going to use this 003 multi-liner for his teeth because I want to, let me just bring y'all in so you can see this a little bit better. Okay. All right. I'm going to do some detail on his teeth here to make them kind of pop. So we're going to go little short strokes right along where the teeth connect to his snout. And then I'm going to bring the left side down and kind of over. And this side down and kind of over. And then I'm going to darken up the outside lines of his teeth. Okay, like that. The reason that I did that is because if I put shading in there, we're going to lose his teeth. It's going to get lost in this mess that we're about to make with the shading around him. So just make sure you've got a good definition of where his teeth are before you start this shading part. Okay, guys? All right. How are we doing? We good? Everybody okay? All right, we're fixing to start the shading underneath his chest. Now, this is where it's going to kind of get dark. So I'm going to be using the gray for this because this is basically the inside of his mouth opening up right here to like bite this cookie. So we're going to do the light gray first and we're going to go all the way down. And we're going to kind of blend this out as well. Right around the teeth. Okay. So we're kind of making him a little mouth here. As a matter of fact, we can even give him a little definition with our pen here. So let's do that. Let's just make this mouth kind of come out. So we can see that that's his mouth opening up, okay? Okay, now I'm going to take the medium gray, bring that down a little bit, but not quite to the bottom. And then we're going to take the black. And we're going to bring that here, right along the edge. And in the corners. Okay. Even maybe right here in this bottom corner. Okay. So now we do that again. Medium pressure this time. The whole thing. And then medium pressure with the medium gray. And then medium pressure with the black. Okay, you see how that's creating his mouth, the look of his mouth? What size are your cards that you're using? At least the smallest. This is a 2.5 by 3.5 size. It is an ACEO size. All right, light gray again. Now we're on heavy pressure. All over. Medium gray. Heavy pressure. And then our black. Okay, so that kind of gave us that mouth opening up, okay? And now we're gonna go back and we're gonna put the definition in around his arms, and it's gonna bring that all together, okay? So we're gonna do the light. The light peach first. And he's gonna have right around here. And then the dark. Probably right here, a little bit around his fingers. Okay, and do it again. Let me get this sharpened. I like to have my pencils fairly sharp when I'm doing this because it makes it much easier to get that blended effect. Heavy pressure. And then heavy pressure with the medium. And then heavy pressure with the dark. So you guys can see kind of how that did. Now, he needs a little bit of shadow right here at the base, too, of his arm. That is where I'm going to kind of add in just a teeny tiny bit of this coffee to give us a shadow of where his hand kind of connects. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take the white and we're going to blend all that out in the light areas so that it comes through. Okay. All right. Now let's do the other side. Let's see. Yay, Jeanster. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. Yes, my ACEOs are listed on my EBAY. And you can find that on my TikTok page. Do you ever get, yeah, a lot of people are, that's happening for sure. People are, I think it's, you know, I mean, it's an imperfect system. AI is the, you know, moderator basically. And so it's an imperfect system and we have to just deal with it as best we can. And that is sometimes difficult. But always appeal because you will be you usually will win them. I've had to appeal multiple times for different things, and I've won most of mine. There's been a few that I haven't, but for the most part, most of mine are you know, they restore everything for me. So just know that you have that appeal option. Okay, remember, light pressure, medium pressure, heavy pressure, 3 layers. We're on medium pressure right now. That is what makes the blend happen with colored pencils. And I know it's like, what? It's such a pain to have to do all these different layers, but if you want it to look natural and blended, that is how you have to do it. And again, this is where I'll bring the coffee in just a little bit right here along that shadowy area. And right here. Because we want that arm to be distinguishable. Okay, so just where you feel like it's not quite dark enough, you can add some of that coffee on top, and it'll give it just enough, a little bit more of a dark feel to it. Okay. All right, now we're going to his belly. Don't worry about the feet yet. Just do the belly. Okay, now we're on medium pressure. Again, you don't have to go in any specific direction. It doesn't have to all be the same direction. The way that colored pencils do is they get into the crevices if you go different directions with them. So don't feel like you have to go, you know, keep your strokes in the same direction all the time, because we don't. Good morning, Jamie. How are you? Thank you, Janster. Yes. This will be, I have a whole all of these are going up this week. So actually this one's already sold. The bear sold. But all of these will be going up this week. So hopefully maybe maybe tomorrow. All right, light or heavy pressure now. And then heavy pressure with the medium color. And then heavy pressure with the dark color. All right, now we're going to blend the white. Blend it out with the white. And bring it all together. And then we are going to add in a little bit of that coffee right up underneath here, where we would have those shadows that would be a little heavier. Because we know that this heart is going to create a bit of a shadow. And we want to make sure that that shadow is defined the way that we want it to be. Okay. All right. Now, feet. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I didn't get on yesterday. I thought I was going to make it on yesterday and I didn't. I just got caught up in doing some fun thrifting with my daughter. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and go around the feet. Right. Then our shadows are right along this left side. So that's where we'll go with that. And then the heavy shadow. Again, medium pressure. And heavy pressure. Okay, and with this, I'm gonna want to do the coffee right around where the feet connect to give us some dimension. And then also bring that shadow kind of out. And then right here at the base. And that gives it just a little bit more dimension. All right, the other places we want to have shadows is right along here. I'm going to go ahead and give that coffee, bring that coffee out just a little ways on this side to make that shadow a little more defined. Like that. Okay. All right, now we got to do the ears, guys. Now with the ears, I'm going to use the coffee to do the ears. I want it to be kind of defined. So I'm going to do the coffee first in these shadowy areas. And then I'm going to go in with this dark peach around that coffee. Okay, or it's not a dark peach, it's a coral. Sorry. The coral. Okay, and then, oops, sorry, the white. I'm going to just kind of blend that out. So that we have that. Okay. Let's see, where else do I think I need anything going? I think I want to make, I think I want to give him some extra little fuzz between his toes. And give him a little bit more definition around his feet. And you know what? We probably should do the pink in his feet as well, and the heart, just to give it, because those are still kind of flat. So let's go ahead and do pink and then dark pink right here. We did a pretty good job of shading this heart with the watercolor, so it's not super flat, so we don't have to do quite as much, and you know, we don't have to make such a huge effort to get that definition in there, because we did good with shading that pretty good with the watercolors. And you know, you can do that. You don't have to always use colored pencils if you don't want to, but the feet are definitely flat. So we definitely want to go ahead and get some shading in the pads of his feet. And I'm doing all of the dark on the left side, following that contour. And then it's a small area, so I'm gonna make sure my pencil's very sharp so that I can get a good definition of. And you guys know, when I get pencil like powder on my page, I wipe it like this. So what that does is it kind of gives this background that I've already got, that purple background on there, it kind of gives it a little bit of that coloring from the shaded pencil too, because it kind of smears it, and it's going to give me a little bit more of a frame and definition when I pull this out. So okay, now we need to do his little like ground he's sitting on, and then we'll do some splatters. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull out my grabby again. I'm going to pull out this bottom strip, and we're going to use this for his base. So I'm going to put some water in here like this. Okay, just like this. And I'm going to take this brown, and I'm just going to kind of add it where I feel like it needs it. And then I'm going to do this darker brown as well. Okay, then rinse the brush, dry it. With my new quiet heat gun. This heat gun is so quiet compared to my other one. It's crazy to me. All right, so we're going to dry that, and then we are going to add, this heat gun is so quiet compared to my other one. It's crazy to me. All right, so we're going to dry that, and then we are going to add some flower grass here. So I'm going to go ahead and just have that come up like this. Add some flower grass here. So I'm going to go ahead and just have that come up like this. Maybe right here. just like that. We can do some little. Okay, and we can do that also with, if we wanted to, we could pull out this green multi-liner just to show you how you can incorporate some of these colored pencils in and just add in some green to that. Yeah. Love it, love it. All right, now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna cover his little face. Thanks, Sage and Soul. All right, we're gonna cover his little face because I don't want it to get on his face. Okay, but everything else I'm not really super worried about. I'm going to cover that too. I don't want the heart to have it. Okay, and now I'm going to get my number 1 brush. I'm going to dip it into the black. Okay, so I'm going to dip it into this black. Now remember, these are super pigmented, guys. I'm not playing around when I say that. So you might want to test your... you might want to test before you splatter. So grab a piece of paper and go ahead and just make sure that when you do your splatters, it's going to be the size that you want. Yeah, so that's going to be all right. So, oh, you know what I did? I just uncovered him, didn't I? I don't want to do that. So let's cover his little face again. And we are going to just tap and splatter where we want those splatters to go. And rinse your brush. Okay, and now we're going to pick him up. I don't want to smear. There. Okay, so now he has his splatters. Let's get him dry. I think he's turned out super cute, you guys. Get it dry. We'll peel the tape. He is a cute little hippo, isn't he? Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to put the white in his eyes. And also, I was going to put some white dots on the heart so that it looks more like a cookie. Because the idea is for the heart to be a little cookie. So, I'm going to go ahead and take out my my gel pen. And I'm going to do a little white dot. My gel pen. And I'm going to do a little white dot on his eyes. And I'm going to do just some dots on the cookie. We could have even made the cookie like it had a bite out of it if we wanted to. Would have been kind of cute. But too late now. Okay, so there he is. So let's go ahead now and peel our tape off so we can reveal our outline. Y'all, look, that purple background is perfect for him. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, y'all. Peeling the tape just makes it so, like, perfect. I cannot with this little guy. How cute. Like, perfect. I cannot with this little guy. How cute is he? Okay, you guys have to tell me what you think because I am in love with him. He is adorable. Adorable. All right. Yep. He turned out precious. I still think we need to add a little bit of this coffee color, maybe right here at where his mouth connects, and maybe just right here over the nose, just a tad. Yep. Look, oh my goodness, he's super cute. All right, so that is today's, thanks for the heart, me mom. So that is today's tutorial. All right, so that is today's, thanks for the heart, me mom. So that is today's tutorial. I think he is so stinking cute. Now I want to show you guys because I feel like it's easy to forget the process of being patient and trusting the process. All right. So I'm going to show you guys this because I want you guys to remember what he looked like when he was flat. Okay. So hang on. Okay. So here, after we drew him, all right, after we drew him, he was here. This was his base, okay, with all of our watercolor. And then this is after the detail. And now, even with the detail, he looks super cute, right? Thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's super, super cute with just his detail work. But then, after we add the colored pencil on, you can see how that brings out depth and dimension. So even though he's super cute with all these details, he's even better with the shading from the colored pencils. So you can tell the difference because this was before the shading. This is after the shading. Okay. So it's a huge, huge difference when you do that. And this was, of course, before, hang on, let me get that out. And this was before the detail work. This was just after we drew him out and got his base paint on him. And then this was the detail after the base paint. And then this is the shading after the shading, which I should have taken a picture of him on the tape down still, but that's okay. So anyway, that's the process, you have to follow. So when I say, if he looks like a hot mess when you start, it's okay because that hot mess is going to turn into something beautiful when you're done. So Sage and Soul, I just prompt ChatGPT. I upload a photo of some of my art pieces. I generally will use, something like this. And I'll take a picture of them and I'll upload them and say, this is my art style. I need you to please create me a cute, whimsical hippo that I can use as an inspiration photo to paint. And then ChatGPT will give me, it'll give me this, or it'll give me my prompt photo, okay, which is right here. Okay, so obviously it's not the same. You can see it's not the same, but it gives me an inspiration of what I can do to kind of a starting point. Okay, so that was our inspiration photo today. This was what we ended up with when we were done. It's definitely not the same, still just as cute, right? So, okay, Tori, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so that is how we did that's how we've done all of these, guys. All right, we start out with a base paint, a base color, or a base layer of watercolors, and then we move on to detail work with our grabby multi-liners, and then we move into shading with our So Color colored soft core pencils. And that is what brings out all of the amazing beauty of these creatures. It brings them to life for sure. So let me go ahead and sign this one while I'm thinking about it. This one will be up on my EBAY this week as well. Okay, with the rest of those. All right. So let's talk about products. What did we use today? This is the very first thing we used was this. It's been a question. Yes, they are on my EBAY, they will be. I have several already up, and you can just type in my name and it'll probably come up because I put myself as the author on it. So it should come up. But also you can get it off my TikTok page. Same place you can get my Tube of You channel. So all these replays are up. If you want the replays for these tutorials, they are up on my Tube of You. And yes, Sharon, yes, we did draw them. So when we do our tutorials every day, I draw it out and I show you how to draw it first. Then we add our base layer of watercolor paint and our shading with our watercolors. And then we go through with our grabby multi-liners and we do the detail work. And then we go in with our colored pencils and do the shading work. So, and that's how I do all of my tutorials. And these tutorials are up on my Tube of You. You can find that on my TikTok channel. But we drew all of these little guys. So, yes, these are not stamps. These are hand-drawn and hand-shaded. I'm going to darken up some of this detail work right here just because it kind of got a little lost in the pencil shading. And I want that to show more. He is super cute, I think, guys. I think he turned out really, really cute. I think that he is got lots of character. I don't know about you guys, but question about purchasing these ACO cards. Yes, they are on my, they are listed. They are listed, yes, on EBAY. EBAY is where my ACOs are listed. Not all of these are listed yet, but some of them will be soon. I have several that are up already. Yes, that is correct, Stacey Lee. If you wanted to do a gray hippo, you would just do it with gray. He would have turned out more gray had I decided to do the shading with the grays and blacks instead of the peaches. Okay, I used the coral and the peach. But if I had done the shading with the gray, he would look more gray. I just didn't. I wanted him to be more of a peachy color. So that's why I did the shading with these three colors as opposed to these colors. Had I done the shading with these colors, he would have come out a little bit more gray. Okay, so that, and you can kind of control that with depending on what your shading colors that you choose. So just keep that in mind. Like if I wanted to say, like this guy we used the gray on him, and so that is why he looks more gray. It's more gray. And on this little guy, we used the browns. So he looks more brown as opposed to peach. But on this guy, I used the peach color because I liked the peach. Okay, we used the browns on him. I used the gray on this guy. So, you know, you can, it really depends on how you choose to do your shading and your base colors. Okay. All right, so this grabby set is what we use for our colors, or for our watercolors today. This is the first time I've used this set. I just got it in, and I want you guys to know that this set it's a really nice creamy set. You have your palette for mixing. This was our base color that we mixed for our Hippo today. And it's got a sponge as well, and it's got 2 other places down here to mix if you want to mix your colors too. This is a really neat little palette. Your brush fits right here, so you can travel. You can put your little water brush in there if you want. I didn't use this brush today. I just used the palette. And then you can, of course, see all of the colors that you have available, so you know which section you want to open up for your paints, or you can just open them all out like this if you choose to, which is also a way to do that as well. I don't do that because you need a lot of space to do that. So, and I didn't have a lot of space in my live. But if I was just doing it and not doing a live, I might open them all out so I had access to seeing all of the colors. But you can see what colors and what, because they're labeled down here. They're very creamy and buttery, guys, These are much more creamy and much more pigmented than I expected them to be, okay? I truly expected them to be... I just didn't expect them to be so pigmented. But I did not even have to prime these, guys. There was no priming necessary on this at all. Like, I just touched my water to them and the pigment comes right up. So they're very, very creamy and very, very buttery. So if you like a good travel palette, this is a good palette to have. I'm excited that I have this palette. I will probably be using it a lot because it does have really good pigment. And I do like that I can see, because I've had these palettes where you spread them out before, you have to spread the whole thing out to see what colors you have. And then it's really hard to tell, like, between these colors, what's what. So by having this at the base, that really helps to be able to see your colors and know. This is by Grabby, and it's pinned right here below, Kathy. It's this palette that's right here pinned underneath, on the live. So this is the Grabby one. Really like it a lot. I love that it has the little brush that goes in it too. If you decided to, like, if you wanted to just grab it and go, you could grab and go. It's got this little, I believe this is a stand. Yeah. So it's got a stand that you pull out, and it helps it to stand up like that, as you can see. And that way you can kind of spread these out and, work with it. So that's a neat little feature as well. And then you just fold it back in when you're done, and it lays flat, which is pretty darn cool. Sheena, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate that. I really do. Okay, now, the other thing that we used today was we used this pencil set for our drawing. And I'm going to tell you guys, this set, if you sketch your own drawings, which I do, this pencil set is the set to have, guys, okay? I'm not playing around when I say a good mechanical pencil set is a must for sketching, all right? Now, I used the 0.5 today to sketch out our Hippo. And I used the HB lead. These pencils have a thing on it right here where you can turn it and put it on whatever pencil lead you have in it. So like if you have a 2B, you would put it on the 2B. That way you don't have to remember what lead you have in your pencil. Because the set comes with all of the leads. It comes with your HB, it comes with your 2B, it comes with your 6B, it comes with your 2H, your 4H, and it comes with your 4B as well. So like you have all of the hardnesses of pencils, okay? Now, you also get colored leads, and you also get extra erasers. You get a kneaded eraser, and you get 3 of these soft erasers as well. You get a pencil sharpener for your 2.0s. You get the 0.7, 0.9, 0.5, and you get your 2.0 pencils as well. So, like this, I drew this last night using this set. I was just sitting in bed, just kind of playing around and sketching. And this is how I drew them. Okay. And I used the 0.7 and the 0.5 to draw this out. So you can see how you can get lots of details with different size tips of your leads, which I love. So just so you know, this is a really, really nice sketch kit to have. So if you are like me and you do a lot of sketching before you do your coloring, this is the set to have. And it just closes up. You snap it closed and you can go and travel with it super easy. So I just slip it down in my bag with my travel palette and off I go to do art on the go, which I love. Okay, so this pencil set is a really, really nice thing to have. So what colored pencil are you getting? They are sold out. What's sold out? Tell me what's sold out. Is it the cell color sold out? I don't think so. Let me see. Let me just check. They might be, but I don't think they are. I'm showing that they have them in stock. So thank you, Jesky. Thank you so much. All right, so this was today's tutorial. We drew it with this pencil set, and then we colored it in with we used the Grabby palette, and we used the Meeden brush set. So this is the brush set that we used today. This is the Meeden professional brush set. I have the 4 brush set. It's the 1, 3, 5, and 7. But these brushes are really nice. So you can even do detail work with these bigger brushes because you see the tip on this. It is so beautiful and pointy, and you can do all kinds of detail work with that. This does not rust, which is really, really nice. It stays nice and tight along the ferrule. It has an ergonomic handle here to reduce hand fatigue. So if you're drawing for hours at a time or you're painting for hours at a time, you're not going to be put in a position where your hand is getting super, super tired. It helps to reduce that hand fatigue. Also, they're very short, so it's easy to control your brush strokes with these brushes. So I love that as well about these brushes. And I love that they hold a ton of water because they're synthetic squirrel hair, so they have a ton of, you can get a lot of water in these brushes. They are a professional brush set, but they don't have a professional price. One of my favorite things about this set is that you can get it for a decent price. So if you guys are looking to get a good brush set, because brushes do make a difference in your art, guys, I'm not playing around when I say that. They do. They make a huge difference. So if you are looking for a good professional brush set, but you don't want to break the bank, this is a great set to have. It will level your art up so much, and yet you're not going to be paying $30 or $40 a brush. You're going to end up paying, I think this set right now is on flash sale for under $30. So that is a really good price for a set of professional brushes. They also make a 9 brush set. So if you feel like you need more sizes than this, you can get the set that's got 9 brushes as opposed to 4. But this is the brush set that we used. We also used the detail brush set from Golden Maple. And that is right here. So this is the detail brush set that we used. It's got a 0, a 0, 0, and a 1. All right, so that is the brush set that we used there. I love this set. It's a wonderful set for detailing. All right, so we used that. And then obviously we used the Meeden paper. Okay, and this Meeden paper is a 300 GSM 100% cotton cold press paper. I use the 5x7 size because out of a 5x7 size of this paper, I can cut it into 4 2.5 by 3.5 ACEO sizes, and you don't have any waste. You get 0 waste when you do that. So, This is a really, really great paper. I got, and you can see the difference in the paper. I got some cheap paper on the Zon, and I ordered it because they were already pre-cut to this size. And I used it one time, and you can, and I hated it. You can see the difference. You see the difference in this paper versus this paper. I got this because I was like, then I won't have to cut it. It's already got rounded corners. Like, it'll be just easier. I was being lazy. Well, no, because you can see the difference. Like, you can tell just the difference in the brightness and everything. And so if you're wanting your art to really pop, then use a good paper. Paper makes a difference. All right. And this paper by Meeden is what I use, and I'm just cutting it myself. So instead of having it pre-cut with this lame, crappy paper, I'm cutting it myself with this paper. So it's worth it, guys. Don't skimp on paper. Okay? Do not skimp on paper. It is not worth it, as you can see. I mean, you can tell this one is, and I did colored pencils on this to bring it out, but you can see it's still very flat compared to this, which has so much dimension in it. And it's because of the paper. The techniques were the same, but the paper is what made the difference. It will level up your art if you have good paper. So just know that. Okay. All right. So that was and then the last thing that we used today was the colored pencils right here. These are the So Color colored pencils. There's 72 in this set. They're soft core. I love these pencils. I've had them for almost 3 years. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maria, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm following you back. But yeah, we use these colored pencils today. There's 72 in the set. They're soft core. They're very, very buttery and very bright. As you can see, they have great pigment. So that is the colored pencils that we use to do all of our shading today. All right. So if anybody has any questions on anything that we used today in our tutorial, if you missed our tutorials, or if you've missed any of the tutorials of these guys here, do not hesitate. You can get them on my Tube of You. You can get the replays. Okay. On my TikTok channel, you'll see that. You'll see where you can find me on all the other places. Okay. And, so you will, and also these will be up and listed on my EBAY. Okay. They will go up this week at some point for auction. Okay. All right. Any questions on anything before I hop off of here? I'm going to hop off in just a few minutes, and because I want to go eat some lunch. I'm hungry, and it is lunchtime here in Texas. So if you guys don't have any additional questions, I am happy to answer those while I'm still on here. But after that, I'm going to be done. So I will be back on tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow night. I have my grandkids coming over to spend the night tonight. They will be with me in the morning, so I will not be able to do a morning tutorial. I will be doing a evening tutorial tomorrow, probably around 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if you guys are wanting to do a tutorial with me tomorrow, then look for me around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow on live. We will get on there. I will come back and we will be doing a fun tutorial. Okay. These are the tutorials that we have done over the last 6 lives that I've done. This was today's tutorial, the hippopotamus. He's super cute. Love, love, love him. That is a good question, Stacy Lee. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the new set that I'm getting. I will have, there is a $40 off, no minimum spend for any of my stuff today. So if you guys purchase on my live, just so you know, you can grab that coupon. Okay, let's see. Oh, and this is the heat gun that I got. Okay, the new heat gun that was really, really quiet. So if you guys are looking for a good heat gun, that one's a good one to have. Okay. And then the last thing I want to cover with you guys is this right here. If you guys are wanting to learn how to do watercolors, then this is a great book for that. It is by Dana Fox. And she has, this whole book is watercolor paper, guys. She has the sketches already done for you, as you can see. And then she gives you a palette, she gives you your supply list, and she gives you step-by-step instructions. And you have all these different images to paint. It's called Watercolor with Me in the Forest. And so if you guys have been wanting to learn to do watercolors, you didn't know where to start, you can't draw, and you're struggling with sketching, then this book right here is a really good one to have. It's got techniques, it's got supply list, color palettes, sketches, teaches you step-by-step, shadowing, all of that kind of work. So if you guys are looking to learn to watercolor, that's a good book for you guys to have. I love it. I'm so glad that I got this book. I just think it's, and the paper is, it's not like super high quality paper, but it's good and it's good enough for learning. I sketch mine out. I don't paint directly in the book because I also want to improve my drawing skills. So, but you know, if you don't want to sketch it and you want just something that's already drawn, then this is a good one to have. All right, guys. All right. Well, I am pretty much done then with our tutorial this morning. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off of here and go have some lunch. All right, guys. I enjoyed it. I'll be back on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'll be on tomorrow evening. I'll be on tomorrow evening for you guys. So you guys let me know if you have questions before I hop off of here. Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next tutorial. This was today's tutorial. If you missed the replays or if you missed any of these tutorials and want the replays, you can get them on my Tube of View. All right, guys. Thanks, Feral Mom. All right. Okay, I'm going to say bye then. See you guys later. Have a good day. Love you too, Stacey Lee.